What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90, and it is finally time for the UEFA Champions League quarter-final. 8 teams remain. We have Arsenal, Manchester City from England. We have Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund from Germany. We have Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona from Spain, and PSG from France. Other than, you could argue, the likes of Bayern Leverkusen and Liverpool, who are kicking in the Europa League. These are the most in-form and best teams of the European leagues this season. It is a star-studded quarter-final with an exciting route to the final for all teams, especially those on the right side of the bracket, and I cannot wait to get started. So make sure you drop a like, subscribe down below, and leave your comment with your predictions for the quarter-final. Flashing up on the screen are all of the members that have joined the Patreon and are supporting me on this channel and getting access to the exclusive members tips and accumulators. If you want to see certain tips and picks and other things that I can't put in these videos, whether it's for Champions League games, Europa League games, Conference League games, all the other kinds of leagues, we cover probably about 30 leagues and competitions over there, then you can join using the Patreon link at the top of the description for just the low price of $8.99 a month, and you can get all of the intel that we have over there and join in over there too. So, with that being said, let's kick it off and get started with a very, very big game in a very, very exciting quarter-final. So first up, it is Arsenal up against Bayern Munich. Now, as an Arsenal fan, I'm excited for one, but it is going to be the most difficult route I think anyone could possibly have to winning the Champions League. If you look at it, Arsenal had to beat Porto, granted not the strongest team, but still a very good team. But from then on out, if Arsenal are to win the Champions League, they would need to knock out Bayern Munich whilst playing the second leg away from home, to then play the winner of Real Madrid and Manchester City whilst playing the second leg away from home, to then beat in the final one of Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund, PSG or Barcelona. So it is going to be an insane tournament. For whoever wins is going to have an incredible route to the final. But Arsenal, Bayern Munich. Arsenal, I don't know if this is the realist in me, but seeing Arsenal as odds-on favourites to beat Bayern Munich in this first leg, and I believe odds-on favourite to qualify, I'm going to have to check that. Yeah, Arsenal are 1.66 to qualify and Bayern Munich are 2.1. I know Bayern have had a bit of an off-season by their standards, but that does not sit right with me. I just don't see. I know Arsenal are good, but can they rise to the occasion? A big Champions League night at the Emirates. I'm actually, whether it's just optimism, I'm going to go for an Arsenal win in this first leg, and I'm going to say that Arsenal win 2-1. But this is Bayern Munich we're talking about. Harry Kane coming back to the Emirates for the first time, obviously, since joining Bayern Munich and leaving Tottenham Hotspur. I think this is going to be a great game. I'm going to go 2-1 to Arsenal. I hope we can win. I feel like if we don't win, it's going to be very difficult to qualify then going to Bayern. That will be difficult. But my tip is going to be both teams to score at 1.66. And I think both teams will score regardless. But then again, you know, Arsenal might just pull off a 2-0 win. The bookies really do think Arsenal are going to qualify from this quarterfinal. I, as an Arsenal fan, am a little bit more pessimistic. You could say pessimistic. I would just say realistic. I'm not sure. But you could also go for Harry Kane to score because it's just inevitable, isn't it? But I'll say Arsenal to win 2-1 in this first quarter-final. After this, it's Real Madrid up against Manchester City. Now, Real Madrid doing the business. They look really good. Manchester City, little bit of a sort of blip in form. 0-0 against Arsenal. It was very boring, to be honest, an uninspiring game. I think you could argue, I think both teams would be somewhat happy with a draw here, but Man City more so than Real Madrid. And I do think it is actually going to end in a draw. I'm going to go for Real Madrid 1, Manchester City 1. The tip again is going to be both teams score at 1.57. There's no way Man City keep a clean sheet here in this fixture. But I also don't see a reality in which Man City don't score 2. I think it's going to be very low scoring though. I don't see either team scoring more than 2. And I think under 3.5 goals is pretty much a given here, but I still think 1-1 is quite likely. So I'm going to go for Real Madrid 1, Man City 1, which sets up an interesting second leg. And in terms of the Premier League title race, we obviously, as an Arsenal fan, I'd want Man City to go as far in the competition as possible, even if that means Arsenal playing Man City in the Champions League semi-final in the next round, should they qualify past Bayern Munich and Man City do the same to Real Madrid. But moving on to the next day, we have Atletico Madrid up against Borussia Dortmund. You could argue the two weakest teams left in the Champions League. However, you also don't want to play Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. Whilst I would say they're probably 7th seed, to win on paper. They have a better route to the final than anyone else we've just spoken about. All they have to do is get past Borussia Dortmund and PSG or Barcelona, which they are capable of doing. But the way they play football, even though I think they are, like I said, technically probably the second worst team in the Champions League remaining, they are probably one of the teams you really don't want to play. It sounds very sort of... well, they're two contrasting viewpoints. How can one be one of the worst teams left, but one you most don't want to play? But just the way they go about their business, it's not a fun time for anyone involved. So I wouldn't want to play them. So either way, I'm going to go for an Atletico Madrid win here. I'm going to go for Atletico Madrid 2, Borussia Dortmund 1. And the tip, third, 3 out of 3, both teams to score at 1.9. I considered Atletico Madrid to win, but that was odds of 1.8. And I think Dortmund, they can contribute. They just came off of a 2-0 away win against Bayern Munich, which is a brilliant result. So I think they can contribute. So I'm more confident that both teams score over an Atletico Madrid win, and the odds are better for BTTS, so that's what we're going for. After this, PSG, or Mbappe FC, up against Barcelona. I do think Barcelona have a very good chance of winning the Champions League. Honestly, I could see it happening. I don't know if they're going to get a win away from home at the Parc des Princes here, because PSG, they do play pretty well at home. I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw between the two teams, and the tip is going to be, again, 4 out of 4. Both teams to score at 1.61. I was looking at all the fixtures, and it just seems all the teams are going to be going for it, and I think they're all capable of scoring. They're all really, really good teams. I think the odds reflect it fairly well. If there's any game where both teams don't score, I would say it's Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund. They could play out the most grotty 0-0, red cards on either side fixture you've ever seen. But you never know. And obviously, it's the quarterfinal first leg. Some teams might be more tentative. I think away teams might be more inclined to kind of keep the scoring down and not lose, which is why I think Man City, they'd probably settle for a draw, to be honest. Barcelona, the same against PSG. They would be more than confident taking a draw back home. But I just think out of these 4 fixtures, I'm hopeful that Arsenal qualify against Bayern Munich, but I think Bayern Munich being outsiders is baffling to me. I think if I take my personal preference aside, I think Bayern Munich to qualify at odds of 2.1 is something I can't really look past. I do think Man City will get the job done against Real Madrid, but that is definitely not certain because Madrid are cooking. I think Atletico Madrid can qualify past Borussia Dortmund. I think Barcelona are going to qualify past PSG. So we will see, potentially, the way I predict it, we will see Bayern Munich, Manchester City in the semi-final. I hate predicting against Arsenal, but I just need to see it to believe it, to be honest. And in the other semi-final, I'm predicting Atletico Madrid against Barcelona. But keep an eye out for Borussia Dortmund, because I think even if Dortmund lose by 1 goal, they could overturn that in the second leg. But I say that, it's Atletico Madrid. If Atletico Madrid take a lead to Dortmund, it's going to be real pain for them to get any sort of flow into the game. Atletico Madrid will be putting in hard tackles, diving around. It's just going to be a challenge, to be honest. So that'll be my prediction. I'm saying it now. The semi-final will be Bayern Munich up against Manchester City, and an all-Spanish affair with Atletico Madrid up against Barcelona. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to see Arsenal, Man City in the semis, and I'd love to see Dortmund, PSG in the semis. Why not? Why not have one of Dortmund and PSG in the final? That'd be a great fun. And also, I think easier for Arsenal should they get to the final and take the chance there. And if you do want to combine all of the 4 tips that I've given in this video, both teams to score in all 4 Champions League games, you get odds of 8.07, and I do think it's quite likely. I could see both teams not scoring in the 2 Madrid fixtures, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid. I think Man City could just draw 0-0. But you never know. You've got to press the button, so that is what I'm going for. Nevertheless, I am super excited for these fixtures to take place. I can't wait to watch them, see how it all unfolds. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you did, drop a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for 27,000 subscribers and all the new members on Patreon. I really do appreciate it. I will see you in the next video very soon.